Well, hey there. We've been dotting around Claiborne County, around the Speedwell area lately, because Speedwell has a lot of history. It was settled around 1790, so it's very historic. It also had a historic Speedwell Academy, one of Tennessee's oldest school buildings. So it is primarily an agricultural area. I know it's where I went to school, Powell Valley Indians. There you go. It is a very close-knit and rural community still. So let's get started, see what we can find at the Major Davis Rogers Cemetery. All right, like I said, we've been dotting around Speedwell, Tennessee, and sorry we didn't get a video out last week. It was crazy how our life was last week about being busy at our church work, and we just had so much to do. We just wasn't able to get one out, and hate doing that. I love getting them out every week, but sometimes it just gets hard. But in this video, we are in the Powell Valley area of Speedwell, Tennessee, in the Claiborne County area. And today's video is at the Major Davis Rogers Cemetery. Now, it's really close to the line of Campbell County and Claiborne County. So, a lot of history and a lot of things went down there. So, if you look at the map, the cemetery is located just off of Highway 63. And it is really close to the Powell Valley Resort off of North Lake. So that's a little northeast of La Follette. Here's another photo of the cemetery. And it's located on the original farm of Major David Rogers. There's only 35 people. It's another small one, but it's got a lot of history. So the earliest burial that we could find was 1843. So here we go. Let's see if you can find some ancestors here. We got Alta F. Bratcher. She was born and she died in 1927. Then there's a Billy D. Bratcher, 1928 to 1959. And we know that Billy fought in World War II. And sadly, he was killed in a house fire. Oh man, I mean, that's sad. I mean, what all he had to go through to World War II and then come home and was killed in a house fire. Then there's Fanny Roger Bratcher, 1904 to 1930. Rachel A. Rogers Kane, 1865, 1908. Martha Jardine McNew Lane, 1818 to 1877, and she was born right here in Claiborne County. Then we have Catherine Moon Lewis. Now this is an old one. She was born in 1759 in North Carolina, and she passed away in 1845. So she migrated to Tennessee in the early 1800s with her husband. Then we have Solomon Lewis, 1750 to 1843. There's another old one, first settlers now. He was born in Bladen County, North Carolina, and he served in the North Carolina militia as a private during the American Revolution. And Solomon fought at the Battle of Guilford Courthouse in North Carolina in 1781, so he saw a lot of history. And next we have Joseph Lee Lewis, 1882 to 1884. Sadly, that's just a 2-year-old child. This was his original headstone, and the picture looks like it was just thrown aside. The sad part about little Joseph, he was killed when he fell out of a barn loft. So you never know with these children, was it disease, was it accident? It's just, whatever it was, it's devastating. So next we have his older brother, William Henderson Lewis, 1880 to 1884. And they said that he grieved himself to death over his brother Joseph's death earlier in the year. Now, I do believe that's true because people can grieve. I know I'm still grieving over my brother I lost last year. And my mother I lost back in January. I mean, it's just, they must have been very, very close. It's so sad. But this is William's original headstone, and it looks like it's been discarded in the past too. Now we have a baby boy of the Mundy family who was born and died June 10th of 1891. And he shares the same headstone as his sister, Minnie Annie Munday, 1887 to 1898. Now, she was 11 years old when she passed. And this little picture shows the little boy's side of the headstone. And this picture shows Minnie's side of the headstone. That's sweet, but also very sad. Then we have Bonnie Munday. She was born on March 3rd, 1924, and died on her second birthday. Oh my. You can see in this picture that a little lamb is on top of her headstone, though you can only see the bottom part of the lamb. And that happens. I see a lot of that. The heads are gone, or, they just get damaged over time. So that's sad. Another sad story. We have Charlie Mundy. He was born in December 1879, and he died only 6 months later. Sally Ann Lane Mundy, 1860 to 1924. Anna Haynes Rogers, 1828 to 1885. And this is her original headstone. And next we have Canada Hodge Rogers, 1826 to 1893. And this is his military headstone. Now, Canada served as a lieutenant with Company C of the 1st Tennessee Infantry in the Union Army during the Civil War. He was captured by Confederate forces and was imprisoned in Knoxville, Tennessee, and was also kept in irons, so they chained him. But he was released through a prisoner exchange, and that was something that was pretty common during the war. This is a photo of Canada when he was older. And as I said earlier, that Canada was a lieutenant in Company C of the 1st Tennessee Infantry. And some of Greg's family actually served under him. So his, I think his second great-grandfather, John Lewis Daniel, and then his father, Greg's third great-grandfather also, they both served under this man. So that was pretty cool to connect the dots on that. The third great-grandfather, John G.W. Daniel, and John G.W. Daniel's son, his second great-grand-uncle, Jonathan Arthur Smith Daniel. So those are pretty cool little throwbacks. So now we have Canada's wife, Nancy Melinda Van Beber Rogers, 1825-1907, and they share the same obelisk. Now, if you know anything about the Speedwell, Powell Valley area, like I do, Van Beber and Rogers is a very common name down there. So they're still prominent families today, still living in the same area. And next, we have Canada's father. Now, he was Major David Franklin Rogers. He was born in 1779 and passed away in 1871. And that is who the cemetery is named after. He wasn't born here. He was born in Montgomery County, Virginia. And David was chosen to be the first sheriff of Claiborne County, but he didn't serve because he could not provide a secured bond. Now, in the war against the Creek Indians, he served as a major in Colonel Lillard's regiment of the Tennessee Militia. He represented his district in the Tennessee legislature from 1829 to 1832 and also 1835 to 1836. David was also a farmer. Like I said at the beginning of the video, Powell Valley area, Speedwell area is a very prominent agricultural place still today. There's not many things going on. And we found a great picture of David in his uniform. So look at that. Now this next person is David's wife, Polly Lewis Rogers, 1781 to 1880. She was the daughter of Solomon Lewis that we looked at earlier. Now she was born in Guilford County, North Carolina. I know a lot of people that we've seen lately have come from that area. So we're thinking David and Polly were early settlers of Claiborne County. Then we have Dolly Rogers, 1802 to 1882. Now listen to this. She was a slave of the Henderson Rogers family, and she stayed on with the family after she gained her freedom. So apparently she was treated well, that she wanted to stay with them after she even was free. Then we have our son, Robert Rogers. And a lot of times, like I said, in the slaves, they would take on the last names of the family. And that's what they did right here. Our son was 1838 to 1860, but unfortunately he passed away before they were free. So that's sad. But if this Rogers family was good to these people, you know, he may have had a pretty decent life. Next is Hugh Rogers, 1843 to 1860. James Rogers, 1850 to 1886. And James was the deputy sheriff of Claiborne County. And he was killed in a saloon in the western part of the county by his cousin, John Rogers. That's a nice little tidbit to know. Then there's Jesse Christian Rogers, 1847 to 1888. Lewis Moon Rogers, 1824 to 1902. Margaret Wilson Rogers, and they called her Peggy, 1814 to 1857. Reuben C. Rogers, 1846 to 1851, and he was just under 5 years old when he passed. Please disregard my clock. It always comes on a song when it turns the hour, so that's okay. See if you can recognize that tune. So next we have Rhoda Rogers, 1850 to 1880. Stephen Henderson Rogers, 1820 to 1892. And Stephen served in Company C of the 1st Tennessee Infantry in the Union Army during the Civil War. Then there's the Stephen Irwin Rogers, 1938 to 2017, so that's not been too long ago. There is no picture of his grave, but we do have a photo of Stephen, and he was a veteran of the U.S. Army. Then there's William Hurd Rogers, 1860 to 1956. Anna Sweet, 1853 to 1935. Minnie Welch, she was born and she died on February the 5th of 1926. Now there is only one grave that we could not find a picture of, and that was for Anna K. Wood Rogers, 1826 to 1894. Now, this little cemetery, 33 people, a lot of history. Man, these guys seen a lot of stuff, know a lot of stuff. And like I said, that family name is still in that community today. It may be small. This may be a small family cemetery. Whatever it is loaded with history. Guys, get out there and don't forget our history. That's why I do this for. I do it for ancestry. I do it to connect the dots and find the local things that happened back then. The early settlers, there's so much stories that are connected with these stones. Guys, just get out there, take a look. I mean, it's good exercise. Thank you for watching. Welcome to all of our new subscribers on here. We appreciate you coming, especially coming from my brother Paige Donnie's. That's awesome. I hope you stick with us. If you'll hit the notification bell and subscribe and share and like, we sure would appreciate it. And thanks for watching. See you next time. God bless. Bye-bye.